help desk software, payment software, email marketing tools, CMS and blogging tools, SEO tools, deal management tracking, pipeline tracking. You don't need more tools to get more out of your business. You just need HubSpot. Their all-on-one customer platform is a dream come true for every member of your team, with best-in-class campaigns and workflows to generate more leads for marketing, category-leading pipeline management to help sales close more deals, powerful AI chatbots, and a knowledge base to help service teams scale, and it's built to deliver results and revenue faster to help your business grow. So dump the disconnected tools and the chaos that comes with them. Discover what HubSpot's all-on-one platform can do to streamline your business. Visit HubSpot.com to grow better today. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, June 25th. I'm John Weigell here with Sara Friedman, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. We've been all about AI on this podcast in the past few weeks, but today we're not talking about the latest AI innovations. Today, we're assessing the damage AI is doing and could do to the environment and global energy resources if left unchecked. So, is there a way out, or is there more AI-tinged doom on the horizon for us all? Yes, I am having a wonderful time. We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. First, starting up, Target is letting some of Shopify's popular merchants apply to sell their products on Target Plus, the retailer's third-party marketplace. It has some bulking up to do. Target Plus has 1.2 thousand sellers, while Amazon has about 2 million. So Sarah, where do you see this going for Target Plus?
Yeah, it turns out third-party marketplaces are booming right now, and obviously Target is among the smaller ones in that group, as you can see from that Amazon number. I will say that part of that is by design. Target only has brands join by invitation only, whereas Amazon has kind of looser standards on that front. So that number is not as alarming as it might sound. And interestingly, another contender in the space is Walmart, and they have about 135,000 sellers who grew 36% in the first quarter. And the marketplace now lists more than 420 million unique items. So there's a lot happening in the third-party marketplace.
I'm even surprised that businesses like Target and Walmart haven't gotten in on this way earlier. I mean, I feel like they have, but maybe not to the degree that they're getting in on it now, because as we've seen in the past, 15 years, e-commerce is kind of dominant now in sales. And just last week, I was talking with Ben about how they're integrating AI into Target stores now to try to make the in-store experience more like the online experience. So seems like a bit of a late shift, but it seems like a good move nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it's a smart way to diversify their offering and, keep up with the modern retail landscape. So it makes a lot of sense.
And speaking of Shopify, it launched an AI sidekick chatbot to support merchants with tasks like creating discount codes or generating reports. The early access launch is limited to English stores in North America just for now, kind of going back to what we just talked about AI being pushed into retail at a rapid pace. So more to come on that, I'm sure. Next, over to Under Armour. Under Armour is set to pay $434 million to settle a class action lawsuit from 2017 before its trial. The suit alleges that the company knowingly misled shareholders about revenue growth. Over to other retailers, we go to Shein. Fast fashion retailer Shein, which has faced issues with its US IPO due to labor and environmental concerns, filed for a London IPO. So we'll see if they come away with that one. And finally, Paramount Plus will likely cost you about $1 or $2 more come this August. The struggling streaming company isn't alone, though. Peacock prices also go up in July, which is the second bump in 2024. And Max said it'll soon up its cost too. And I'm here wondering, should I have just stuck with cable? Okay, on to the main story today. We're digging a bit deeper of an AI hole into the earth, literally. AI, for all it offers, is also unfortunately offering some long-term environmental issues and a lot of lift. So, Sarah, how exactly is AI harming the earth right now?
Yeah, so spoiler alert, it's not looking good. There's new data. Yeah, just to get that out there first. There's lots of new data coming out as, AI booms and becomes so widely used and popular. I'll start with something that really stopped me in my tracks. A Lever piece came out and it said that Google's new AI overview, which is that little blurb that pops up now if you just Google a question, it's AI generated at the very top. That blurb uses 10 times the amount of power as a traditional Google search. That means that AI snapshot answers to all Google searches could use the same amount of electricity needed to power all of Ireland. So that gave me pause and required a little more research. That's scary.
I mean, at least in my perspective, I've been looking to rant on this for quite a while, actually, because it's not very useful most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it's been spitting out some crazy answers, glue on pizza, eating rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's plenty of anecdotes about how it's a little misguided. So not helpful at best, maybe dangerous at worst.
Yeah, and could eventually power a second Ireland with all of that electricity. And that's kind of the direction I think this is all going from the sounds of it. Just a high energy use margin pretty much across the board, right?
Yeah, so using AI to generate even a single image can use as much energy as fully charging your smartphone. Global data centers, that's kind of where this all comes back to, is the data centers that are powering all of this technology. They account for 2.5 to 3.7% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. So that's more than the entire aviation sector.
And the alarming part of that, or the most alarming part of that, it seems, is that this is still a relatively burgeoning industry because I believe it was like maybe 18 to 20 months ago is when ChatGPT launched. And obviously AI has been being worked with for a while, but to see these kind of numbers coming up so early and matching the aviation industry, is pretty insane already.
Yeah, it's a little scary. And granted, when it comes to data centers, this is not entirely new. Like, for example, in 2018, just for context, Google used 15.8 billion liters of water and Microsoft used 3.6 billion liters of water just with their cloud services and data centers. So it's not just AI that's the problem, but AI's water usage is projected to hit 6.6 million cubic meters by 2027. So essentially, we're doubling down on some existing problems and risks as far as powering this technology. And I think because of how popular it's becoming and how many different services are implementing AI tools, it could kind of quickly become a much bigger issue.
And it might be a silly question on my part, but what is the water actually being used to do?
For the most part, it's cooling the data centers.
Oh, okay.
Because these are packed with a bunch of tech that can literally heat up. So these are massive facilities, oftentimes in the middle of nowhere. So a lot of that water is being used to cool the technology. It's, a strange thing to be sucking up water and energy. I think that's why it's kind of important to talk about the risks here, because it's not always the most obvious when we're talking about this thing that we can't see or hold. It's hard to understand how it could be using natural resources at this rate.
Right. And of course, like this has come up with data centers in the past, like cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. The amount of data that you need to generate crypto and do that is pretty astronomical comparatively to what we used to have. And so with all this information, right, it's pretty scary. But in the future, I guess if left unchecked or if nobody exactly cracks down on this or kind of does anything to make it more efficient, what are we looking at here in terms of energy usage from AI?
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem is that, as you said, this is very new. So we do need kind of a system of checks and balances happening here. There's not a ton of watchdog organizations already on this. So the U.S. Energy Information Administration is not yet tracking data centers as they do with other industries. And big tech companies only offer the information that they're required to. There's not a ton of transparency. So far, the Electric Power Research Institute is predicting that AI will use as much as 9% of the country's energy by 2030, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. And you do also mention a company that I didn't think would have any stake in AI development in this article, and you talk about Shell. And gas stations? What do they have to gain from investing in AI?
Yeah, so AI, as we know, is very powerful and has so many different applications, but a company like Shell is already using AI to kind of further perpetuate fossil fuel use. They're using the AI tech to tap natural resources to find them more efficiently and extract them from the earth. So that's kind of the other way that this can harm the environment more directly, is to make companies that are already using fossil fuels more efficient and finding every last bit of those natural resources.
Wow. Okay. And so I know we kind of ran through a lot here, a lot of stats, a lot of reasons to be upset. But at the end of it all, are there any lights at the end of the tunnel? Are there any businesses working to prevent stuff like this? Or are these companies themselves trying to take accountability and clean up a little bit?
Yeah, with all that said, I mean, I think we have definitely seen promises from many big tech companies, whether it's to cut emissions, to be carbon neutral by a certain date, to be greener, to use less water. Like, certainly this is a conversation that is being had by many of the biggest tech companies, which is great, and we will see how those promises pan out. And then there's also plenty of newer startups that are, using AI for good. There are startups using tech to preserve the oceans, monitor emissions, manage recycling. I think we've talked about many on the show that are doing positive things for the environment by using AI. So I think it's a delicate balance, which probably people throughout history have been having this conversation with every piece of new technology. There's going to be reasons why it's risky and could hurt the environment, and possibly other ways to do a lot of good. So we will see what happens, but definitely something to be used carefully.
Yeah, certainly. And thankfully, it sounds like that there are a lot of people smarter than I am figuring out ways to curb this as much as possible. So that's great to hear. At least. And that'll do it for us today, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you tomorrow.